Right, call meeting to order. Introduction, start with the select board, please.
Scott Morley, Select Board.
Gary King, Select Board.
Dan Webster, Select Board.
Ed Formier, town administrator.
Chris Roy, you brought Galen?
Jeff Johansson, Newport Ambulance.
Dan Rondo, resident.
Jim Cobb, president.
Deputy White Clerk.
And we have Roy Ward from E.H. Hanson and town accountant Melanie Rajensky. Changes or additions to the agenda. And we'll allow for public comment. Go ahead.
Hi, Jeff Johansson from Newport Ambulance. I apologize, I wasn't able to make it to the last meeting. You guys signed our contract. I just wanted to give you a little quick rundown. Newport Ambulance ended up with 5,809 calls for service last year, company-wide, which was drastically about 600 more than the previous year. We did 75 to the town of Coventry. Our average response time through the company was 8 minutes, 45 seconds. That takes into account even the city calls that are quicker and then the fire calls. But just wanted to point out, part of the split was for faster response times, and it shows that worked out a little bit. We did have a cardiac arrest save in Coventry, and we're having an award ceremony.
Yeah, I passed that along.
Yeah, I'm just offering an invitation to all of you guys. If you're more than welcome to come on Wednesday, 5 p.m. at the Newport Ambulance Station.
Oh, it's at the ambulance.
It is at the ambulance station.
Yeah.
If anybody were gonna pass out plaques to the providers that were there, the Coventry family is gonna be there also to hand out plaques to the providers. But I just wanted to say thank you guys and see if there was any questions for us.
No, that was good information.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming.
Yeah. What'd you say that date was?
This Wednesday at 5 p.m.
Thanks back
Yeah.
for all the work that you guys have done.
I
It is
appreciate it, and
sometimes difficult to make those adjustments, but
it's showing,
I think it's
rapid response times save lives.
Yeah.
In 2 years, this is our third cardiac arrest save in Coventry. So that's just
thank you.
crazy. So
Yeah.
we've had 6 of them in 2 years.
Yeah.
So rapid response and rapid CPR.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
All right, next up, we have a town garage update. Quick background, and I'll let Roy talk. We did have a meeting with Roy and Jim, myself, the road foreman, Nathan, and Dan. And Roy brought some prints in and stuff. I updated you guys on that, and then any emails that I've sent out, additional information that I've signed. But I'll turn it over to Roy when he's ready. How you doing, Roy?
Doing well, thank you. I can tell you that we're making progress on the drawings. We should be ready to put this out to bid I sent you some dates today. We can discuss them further if you want to, but January 15th, we would end up having a mandatory pre-bid conference for contractors to come look at the site on the 22nd, and then have bids back on the 5th or the 12th. The bids are set up right now to be held for 60 days, so contractors won't be changing their bids that way. And then there's just a variety of questions. I think I sent Ed and Jim list today. There'll be a couple more, but I think we're in pretty good shape for getting this out on the street and getting it done.
There's notes and questions in there. I passed the questions along. I got them today. I didn't have a chance to address a lot of them, Roy, today, but I'm trying to touch base with Jim, and maybe you guys have some answers on some of them too at some point.
Yeah. I had one question that I suppose I could ask here. I know there's a planning commission in town, but I don't know if they are the authority that we need to get local approval from, or whether it's just the select board that approves whatever's being done in town.
It's the select board, Roy.
Okay. Well, that makes it easy.
Problem is the town report. When's the town report?
Well, that's in the notes too. We've discussed this. Basically, we need to get a number by the time we send it to print, but Roy had another solution in there. Where you could get us somewhat of a number, right, by the time we go to print,
When is print?
the 26th, but I have to have everything to you on the 20th, so.
Yeah, I can give you some estimates based on our recent experience. Give you some reasonable idea of what to expect. I can put together a development budget. I'll work on that this week, and I'll get that to you for review and discussion. Once we get bids, of course, we can adjust that number.
So that should be good enough for town meeting. I mean, it's not gonna be what it will be, but it'll be,
Close, maybe?
yeah, maybe close.
Yeah,
You know, and do we say, I don't know, we write the article to say an estimated bid, a firm bid will be available, or the bids will be available by, March 1st or something.
yeah, theoretically, it'd be before that, because we still have to finalize whether it's February 5th or February 12th that the bids would come back. And assuming there'd be no reason to delay that, you could expect them by that time.
So Jim, you're here. Thank you very, very much, as usual, for keeping all of us mostly in line. So the question maybe is for you three, but whoever knows or jump at it, but so walk me back through it a little bit here. It's just for anybody who might go online and listen to this meeting, or refreshing ourselves about the process. So we were provided a budget for the work that we're doing this year. The town allocated us up to a certain amount of money, 200 and I lose track of it now, but a lot. And that helped us pay for getting to this point, right? Blueprints and Roy and everybody else that's going to help us along. Are we within our budget for that work? Yes. Okay, that's great. So we don't want to be overspending that. Two would be, where do we all think the town is at? Do you feel that we'll be providing them enough this year in March? Are your instincts there that?
Well, we should, easily have the print, so they'll be seeing that town meeting.
Okay.
With a discussion, not a discussion, but we can explain it.
Yep.
And for sure by then we'll, if we put a price in, an estimated price in that warning, we can amend it anyways at town meeting to the exact amount.
That's what I was thinking in my mind. Can you amend it up also on something like that? I might need to get a legal thing on that, and if not, then you shoot a little higher and you bring it down.
Yeah.
But by town meeting, we'll have it. We just can't put it in the print, right?
Right.
So
Is
at
that
town meeting,
correct, Roy? You would have the exact number by town meeting that you came.
Absolutely. Yep.
so it'd just be
I
amended.
just don't know if it needs to be drafted inside of the warning, the amount. An amount, and then it can be amended on the floor, but I'm not sure if it can always be amended up.
Yeah.
can be amended up or down.
It can be both ways? Okay,
Yeah, because we can do that with appropriations. If somebody comes in for 1,000 and somebody says, I want to give them 5,000, you can change it going up. The only thing you cannot change is anything else regarding that article.
okay.
The only thing you can change is the dollar amount, and that's it. You can't change your fiscal year. You can't change what the purpose is for. None of
Okay.
that. Just dollar.
So if we've got the language in really well and we have all our work done, even though by the time we go to print date, we could put a number in there with our best professionals on it.
Yeah.
But prepared with, if we needed the dollar at town meeting, we'd have that.
Yeah.
So that seems pretty fair. What are you thinking about the whole thing, Jim? I mean, are we where we need to be? Is it going well?
I think we're right where we belong. The questions that I got today, I think we can work that out with Ed, so we get the answers to that. I just don't see any issues. Things are on spot, I think. You know, hopefully we're not a crazy number compared to what we suggested last year. I think we were at what, 145 or a million.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
So, there's some simple questions, and the only one that I think ought to be brought up here, because I don't want to make that decision, and I'm not sure who is going to make the decision. Color of the building.
That's the only question. That's what I saw. What other questions were there?
Today, this page.
They were procedural questions, things like, are you guys going to require bonds? Like a bid bond or a performance bond? Is the project tax exempt? Is it okay to let the contractor use your water and electricity for the project when they're on site? Things like that. Do you want to send this out to just a complete public bid that you advertise, or do you want to pre-select 4 or 5 contractors and give them a shot at it? There's advantages and disadvantages to all those approaches.
Is there where are we going to look into whether the town lawyer felt we had, which way we should go with that, as far as isolated to 4 or 5 bidders or put it out to complete public?
I don't remember that.
I thought it was going to be a question to the town lawyer of what the legal portion of that is.
I think we may have talked about that when we had the meeting with Roy.
Okay.
I think that's, yeah.
I don't remember it. What have you done with other towns? Have you done it both ways, that you put it out to the general public and?
We've done it both ways. If you put it out to a general public bid, that means anybody that feels qualified can bid on it. And so you don't always get apples to apples. So you could get a person who is a fine home builder. They do a lot of residential construction, may decide this is something that's so easy they can handle it. But that is generally not the case with a commercial project because of the requirements, the code requirements, and the specifics of what has to be done with that. It doesn't always work well when you do that. And what it tends to do, I've put in the specifications to have a mandatory pre-bid meeting. So anybody interested in bidding on this either has to show up or they don't get to bid. And the point behind that is everybody gets a look at who the competition is. And so if you leave it wide open, then you may get a guy who works with his, a family member or another person going up against somebody who's got 20 employees. And there's no comparison. Nobody can beat that guy because he's got no overhead. And so you tend to lose interest when it's wide open. So if it's possible, I prefer to hone this down and we can put together a list, go over it with you, just people we've worked with. I prefer to do that just because it makes it a better, it's a more consistent process where everybody's on the same scale.
That sounds better to me. I think with Roy and Jim, we could have a list of, I'd feel comfortable with their list.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. That's a no-brainer for me. So you know how it works, Jim. Guy who's the volunteer who's doing all the work for free gets more things to do. So this is I think where I'm at with all of that, because you know some of the devil in the details, they start cropping up, right? The color and the you know the power and the water. So rather than I think, you know, rather than having us get into those details, we say, hey Jim, you answer all those questions the way you think it should be done, because that's why you're here in the first place. You're the guy. You've done a marvelous job. You instinctively know what the town needs, and so we could do it a couple of different ways. We could just authorize him to make those decisions for us, or to take a little pressure off Jim. What we could do is say, you know, is the next meeting too late for you to just have the time to make those decisions?
So we can get all the decisions made.
Throw them back on this table and let us say it's our decision, so you don't get the heat. However you want to do it.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking turn it over to the school kids for the color.
And I had a bad idea today.
I can tell you, we could put together a couple of options that we think are appropriate.
Yeah.
And just show you a couple of color schemes, and somebody can make a decision about that.
Yeah.
Sometimes folks in town have a real serious idea about those kind of things. So that's why I toss that out there. But we generally do that just as a matter of course. And so we can do a couple of options for you and let you guys. I think I sent some pictures of some projects we had done, just to give you an idea.
I mean,
Not white. I kind of like the burgundy.
yeah. I mean, you got a building there now, right? And it's a certain color. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just like, I want to say, at least for me, I can't talk for you guys yet, but I want to say, I want to give you my authority, Jim, to use your sense and skills with Roy, and you guys help us make those decisions by saying that's your decision.
We'll put it together.
And certainly by the next meeting, I would be ready, or whenever you guys need it. If we needed to do something special, we could. But you know, for us to sit here and start trying to think about a color and it's like I don't care unless it's
the color is not that critical.
No.
Because we can often pick that after the contractor's on board.
Right.
So I'm not real worried about that.
You know, think power, you kind of have to go up there and you got to kind of see it with your eyes and say, well, how would it work? You know, what are the fundamentals to it? You know, maybe we put another meter up there as a temp. You know, I don't know, and run it through the town. I don't even care about that stuff as long as somebody's on site and looked at it and was reasonable about it and just make the decision.
Yeah.
It's not what we do.
Yeah. Okay.
You're gonna pay for the power and the water anyway,
right?
Whether they just tap into what you've got, or they have to run a whole nother service up there temporarily for the building.
Right.
So I think there's some savings to be made by running off of the power you have up there, and the water that you have available up there. And as long as they're a responsible contractor, which we assume we'll get, that shouldn't be an issue. You're going to pay for it one way or the other. It's a little less expensive if they don't have to get it all started from scratch, tap into the well somehow and tap into the power supply up there.
What's the performance bond?
It's basically like an insurance policy. If you put this out to just a broadcast it as a public bid, you don't know who you're getting, and they may not have an extensive track record. So it means if in the middle of the project they go belly up, you've got a bonding company standing behind it saying, we'll get this squared away. We'll cover the cost of this. Some towns there and the state of Vermont require it for a lot of their projects. And it's really just a matter of whatever your procedures are for financing and things like that. But if you've got a contractor that's got some history, some, like a EF Wall or Kingdom Construction, somebody like that, they've been around long enough to where the idea of them coming apart at the seams on your project is a bit of a stretch. But I've got a project up in Essex, Guildhall right now where we've got HP Cummings is doing the work, and they've been doing that for almost 100 and something years, and they still required the bond. So,
So is it something that the town has or something that the contractors have?
this contractors have it, but you pay for it. So it may cost $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 or something like that to cover the cost of the project. It's like an additional insurance policy, basically, and they'll put that in their bid.
Thank you.
Just before we get off the subject, one of the things that I spent some time thinking about last week a lot was, is Melanie with us?
Yes.
She's here. I talked with Melanie and talked with Ed some. We're having a lot, it's that time of year, right? We're all talking about budgets and working with Dave and everybody else, and we're making some decisions right now around some of those special reserve funds and drawing some of those balances down. And the bigger question then becomes, well, what are we going to do with that money, right? And so I think what I've asked is Ed put an email out, communicated with David, David Barlow and Melanie, and I asking for, outside of the meeting, let's have that discussion so that something can come to this table so that we can, with their help and assistance, figure out if they vote yes, how are we gonna pay for it? Right?
Yeah.
Now, right now, we're moving many, many, many hundreds of thousands of dollars. You could probably come up with $1 million. That you may not necessarily want to send to long-term investments if you're looking at building a $2 million arch, right? Depending on how you want to pay for that, I think you want to have that discussion right now so that it helps guide us on our articles on how you want to present those, because you can't really undo it, right? And we've been very steadfast forever that we don't bring money back from those long term. So if we have an opportunity now for some cash flow, probably need to have that conversation. We're running up against the clock, but I don't think we've nailed that date down yet, but maybe Friday.
Yeah, I have dates from David and Melanie. I was just gonna touch base with you and see what worked.
And it looked like Friday was kind of open, so maybe we spend an hour and then before next meeting, and then you guys get a chance to talk to whoever you want to talk to. And then we come back here and it helps us form those decisions. If that makes sense, because it's a lot of money. Deb?
One quick thing, you wanna check with the LCT, because usually the article, you're gonna place it that we ask the town to appropriate whatever funds for whatever. Usually you have to have it in that article, what your payment means is going to be. So you're asking them to borrow the amount being funded by either a bond loan or taking it out of the reserves.
Well, that's exactly part of the whole conversation that I don't really want to try to have here and get Melanie and David pre-working. And then, flush it through the first and then get here to educate everybody out on what you gotta do.
But that should be on the actual warrant.
Right. Yeah, so that they know,
Yeah.
you know, how it happens. And I think there might be, you know, there's a vast array of options there really when you get down to it. And so whatever we think would probably work best is sort of the way we ought to present it. And then let the floor go from there, but you know, with Jim and Melanie and David and Ed and you, if you wanted to, flush it through the first time and put on this table, here's three options. And have somebody ready to speak to them for us.
Yep.
Melanie or David, and explain those out to us. Think we'd be pretty responsible if we did that. That makes sense to you, Jim? Yeah.
Question for Roy. Do you know anything about the bonded loans? So I think,
Not really.
yeah, we had this conversation and David, I think, didn't know a whole lot about them, so that's
We've done that
something.
for the school. That's
Hmm?
what we do.
You did it for the school. Oh, it's an option. I mean, there's some knowledge there. Okay.
Okay. What do you got, Jim? You good?
No, good.
Can't say thank you enough. I know how much time it takes and I know how busy you are and, thank you.
Yep. Thanks very much.
It's all good.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank you. I will, I'll sign off and I'm available. I have a meeting tomorrow at 9. I should be available after 11. Jim, if you want to call me or however you guys want to communicate, we'll just keep banging away.
All right.
Thanks, Roy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris has a question.
Well, just a comment, I'm wondering if there should be a note to remind voters, and this is already in the warning, that the actions taken are not gonna affect the tax base. So people are not gonna say, well, we're not gonna approve $1 million garage, or whatever the cost is gonna be, so I don't want my taxes to go up. That is, whatever happens on that Tuesday in March, it's not gonna affect the taxpayers. I mean, just, just a thought to remind them
Mhm.
that, well, and, whatever the, whatever it's gonna end up being. Just a thought.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
No. I understand what you're saying. And I do hear you say that a lot with us. It's true, but it's not, right? It is the town's money. And it is gonna impact the town's taxes someday.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was.
It's not this year that you're gonna receive an increased tax bill, but you will in 20 years. And so that's why we've been pulling together so hard and with Melanie and David and Westview and everybody to say, we need professional services to show us how to be financially responsible and make plans and figure out how to minimize future taxes. But it's not going to eliminate them. And so every dollar we spend today, you are reducing your retirement plan in the future. That's the truth of the matter. So you can we can keep saying that it's not going to increase your taxes. It's not really true. So that's why I always hesitate to say it's like, I know what you're saying, Chris. I know what others are saying, that it's not impacting you today, but it will tomorrow. Everything that we do, every building, every road, every grader, everything we do is chipping away at that future. So it's a healthy discussion. It's one, I think we've been more successful the last couple of years in town meeting, especially talking about all that stuff. And that's why we made some major changes this last year. We really have made some major changes in order to have even a better conversation of that. So that's why this week, the meeting that I want to talk about, I want to pull Melanie in, and I want to pull Dave in, and I want to have that discussion so that you can sort of tee it up on, if you do vote yes, and this is how we proposed, and then you got a lot of moving parts. It's that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, money is money.
yeah. It's money if we build the garage, it's money that we don't invest.
That's right.
We don't put away for savings.
A lot of money. I'm not trying to sway, one way or the other. I mean, I think it needs to be built. When it is built, how it's built, that's why we've slowly gone through 2 years. And thank God for Jim, and we really professionally, as best we could, are gonna present that to the town with a whole conversation about, this is what it really costs, and it's not gonna get cheaper in the future. And this is how we're proposing to pay for it without impacting some of our larger planning pieces around getting us out to that 20-year mark, right?
Yeah.
With our investments and everything else. So being responsible about it the best we can.
But having the mindset of it's not costing us, you could look at a lot of things like that and you could just spend money on whatever. We should all know that it's going to impact us one day.
Definitely.
20-year plan. Everybody in the town has to realize, there's a lot of people say, well, how come we don't just split it up? And give me a chunk, give everybody a chunk. Well, it's all about the future.
That's right.
The 20-year goal that we're leaving something, not a mess.
That pile of trash will be there forever. We should leave something along with that legacy. Not just pile of trash.
Yeah.
Could be something for the rest of the people who have to endure that forever.
Yeah, no, it's well said and well taken. I like to say often that we're the luckiest generation Coventry's ever had. And it was based on decisions of our forefathers, and they created an opportunity for us all.
Yeah.
That we got to make sure we are being as responsible as we can and keep it going. And if we don't plan it well and make good decisions now, you will see those impacts. And so it's good, it's healthy to have that, but we got to keep the kids and the grandkids living here too. Thank you, Jim.
As far as to answer a little bit of Chris's question, I think you did, but the article will have the amount and then what Deb discussed, the finance, but a lot of that other stuff's gonna be discussion with the voters, right? You're not gonna write on 2 pages of details, so
No, it's a.
they'll have questions for you guys and whoever.
Thank you, Ed.
Yep. All right, next we have contract town accountant. There's some notes in there from an email from Tyler, but she's also with us.
Part of this.
Hi, Melanie.
Hey there.
Sunny Florida.
Melanie, did you need me to give any background, or were you just gonna discuss?
Oh no, I can go ahead and mention it. I just wanted to quickly touch on the prior topic, just to say that those are traditionally voted similar to how you're going to do for your winning your bids. And so any financing, if you had to propose debt at this town meeting, you might do it at a higher level and then reduce it at a town meeting. But generally speaking, you kind of start off higher than what you really need, because you might get grants and things like that. But I think we're going to have a much larger discussion about that at the next meeting, like Scott said. But it's a similar path to what you're looking at for the construction costs on the financing. So when we started our adventure, we initially decided with a term of up to 12/31/25 for our contract, and we're off to a little bit of a slow start. And I had expected to spend more time on the independent audit with David. I did spend a whole day there, but didn't end up spending those hours, and so we haven't used probably about half of the contract yet. And so tonight I was just asking to extend the date, if you would take a vote to extend the date of the contract through, say, June 30th, but keep the $10,000 cap on that contract. And at the point where I think we're approaching 10,000, I will come back to you with a revised actual contract.
Sounds good to me.
Well, I must say, Melanie, that's not typically what we hear.
Right?
So you're like Jim, we're surrounded by so many nice professional people. It's really feels great. So, thank you for everything you're doing. I think it's a no-brainer. The request is to extend 6 months in time, but keep the $10,000 top. And then keep going and thinking from there is what I'm hearing you saying, Melanie. Is there any reason we couldn't do that tonight? We have this drafted town accountant contract, I guess we could. Well, before we say yes to that, Melanie, what have you learned? What are we doing wrong?
Actually, I was pretty impressed when we first got the sets of trial balances and I got access to NEMRIC and I looked at the work that David did and I'm like, everything is right where the last auditors left it. The fund balances tie out and a lot of things really were in good shape. And you know, when you're referred to somebody because they need some help, you usually think the worst. And when I got into Coventry, I kind of found really some good things. The things that we're working on are just improvements. Like you said before, you're not looking to drastically change the way that Coventry does things. You're looking to enhance or augment or improve processes, improve policies, try to understand some things a little bit better. And so I think that's why we have had this little bit of a slow start, because there's not, I didn't walk into a train wreck, I guess is my point. So that was really, really exciting for me.
Well, that's great to hear.
That's great.
I think I speak for everybody when I say the reason for that is David. So David, I know you're listening because I see your name. Thank you for keeping the finances of this town as well as you have. You've done a great job. And so Melanie, thank you. I think you're right, which is, sometimes this board changes a lot. It's hard to keep up with everything and understanding it. And I think that's what we're seeking, which is a little bit more conversation in some of those bigger parts, a little more education out on the bigger finance pieces, and just make it as good as we can. Yeah. You guys.
Thank you for all you've done and the good words.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good with this.
Yeah,
By the way, that was just some notes for you. That wasn't
Yep.
like anything I wrote up. That was just some notes Melanie sent along.
So I will, I know I was included on that email. I haven't really been very responsible with that here in the last week, Melanie and David. So I'll look at those dates, I think Friday, but I'll do that with email and we'll get a date and time and before the next meeting and then try to get you guys what we can and take a look at it.
Are you talking about back to the garage or about this?
About sort of all of it.
Yeah.
How we, all of those moving fun pieces and parts. I can't really see it in my brain good enough, and it's hard to do it right here. And it ties. The biggest is the tie to the garage. It makes me a little bit scared. We're going to get a lot of questions. How are you paying for that? Are you going to do bonds? Are you going to do short-term borrowing? Are you going to take money back from long-term investments? Are you going to stop all the tire? We're going to have to answer all that. So I think we should have a fairly good plan as best we can to answer those questions, but it's hard to do it without getting David at a table and Melanie just let them do their magic and present it to us.
Yeah.
With those options on on paper. And then we can discuss it here for a half an hour, and I think we'll be there.
Yeah.
And educating so that we can have a responsible discussion. Right now, it's pulling it from everywhere.
And if you have your meeting on Friday and you have a draft on Wednesday or the following Friday, we could get them sooner than 2 days before the meeting
Yeah,
to read.
absolutely. Yep. Yep. Options, I'm thinking that's what you're be looking at. And we can. And Ed will be involved, so he'll be able to, open for you guys, and they will be too.
Yeah, I'll get whatever
Pick the
info
phone
to
up and-
them, but yeah.
As far as Melanie's contract, that's something we need to do.
Oh, yeah. I think you should.
We should.
June 30th, 2026.
Mhm.
Keeping the cap at the current $10,000. Yep, I would. You guys are good with it.
I'm good.
Okay. What are the dates again?
June 30, 2026.
So a motion to extend Melanie's contract through June 30th, 2026. And still only pay the $10,000. All right.
Second.
All in
I. Thanks a lot, Melanie.
Thank you,
That
Melanie.
was
Thank you, Melanie.
favor? You got anything else?
very nice.
No, I'm gonna hang out and listen to what David has to say.
Okay. Thanks, Melanie.
Thank you. All right, next is a treasurer's report of David, and it's in your packet there.
Hi, David.
Greetings. There, I said it. All right, I invite your attention to the first page. This is November 2025. Hopefully, we're all looking at November.
Yes.
And what we see when we look at the checking account and the cash management account is the impact of collecting taxes and moving roughly 2 million in education tax that we collected through the different accounts and teeing it up in the form of a check to the school. So you can see, looking at the balance on November 1st, the checking account started at 1 million. We collected a whole bunch of tax money, transferred a lot of that to the cash management account to earn better rates. And then later on, I transferred 2 million out of the cash management account, which you can see there, 2 million exactly, back to the checking account to set up to pay the check that was set up for the school. Now, the school had not cashed the $2 million check as of the end of November, so you can see in the cash accounts the balances that reflect that education tax money was still in the checking account. However, I can assure you they have since deposited that check. Now, by moving the tax money as it came in over to Fidelity for a better rate, the town made about $3,500 that it would not have otherwise on that money. So, moving on down, I show the fund balances for the general fund and the highway fund. And the highway fund is negative, but not to be concerned. It's going to get a lot better as time goes by. The Casella quarterly payment is due later this month, and once that arrives, we'll have somewhere around another 500,000, hopefully a little more than that, in fund balance between these two funds. In the month of November, there was no transfers in spending or transfers out from the restricted fund balances, so they remain the same. And the investment portfolios in November, nothing really happened there either. Pretty calm month. So unless there are any questions, I will hand it right back.
So because of the 2 million, it looks like it's still sitting in there. Because,
At the end,
never mind, that's January 1st, never mind.
it's at the end of November,
Yep,
it was still there. The education tax money,
yeah, hadn't come out yet.
they hadn't cashed the check. But they have cashed it. It's gone now.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Dave, before you sign off and go to bed, if whenever our date and time is that we sit down, I really challenge us all to get your mind right into those reserve funds. And be, we're not gonna have YouTube going, so I want to hear it. I really want you to put it all out there on everything about reserve funds that you've learned, and what you like and what you dislike and what you think is best or not best, so that we can really sort of flush that around. I know we've got some articles teed up for the reductions, but at least off I'd like to hear more. I want to really get your mind, and Melanie's too, if she's still listening, on how best to put that money to work. What your thoughts and opinions are, you guys, on how best to put that money to work. I mean, we're sitting on 1.3 million right there, right? Currently, and I know we don't drop down to nothing, but I think it just keeps going back to the same conversation, which is how do we most responsibly manage that money? It's a big chunk of money most towns don't sit on. So blast me with it Friday or whenever. All right.
All right, thank you, David.
Thank you, David. Mhm.
All right, next, this is kind of what you've been discussing, Scott, with the, sorry.
Go ahead.
Are you good?
Yep. Yep.
With the meeting and stuff, but just some updates on the articles. A bunch of notes in there for you.
Yep.
Okay. The first one is the 3 to 5 person board, and I got in touch with VLCT and got some information on that process.
And do you have any opinion on it?
As far as like the process, or
Which way you think would be the best to set those terms up, should they be?
oh yeah, so I did discuss it some of that, and then getting it from VLCT, it would be, I discussed it a little bit with Deb too today, and I forwarded this to her and David so you could see it. That would be like one of the very first articles, whether you want to go to the 5 person. And then you would add 2 select board members if it gets voted yes into your regular slate of officials.
In those terms, there's some variable.
Oh yeah, that's in here too. Yeah, it's
They're both 2-year terms.
2-year terms, but one person has to serve one, right? To stagger.
Yeah,
Did you end up
stagger.
reading it? Is that what you got from it also?
That seems like say it that way again.
2-year terms, and she can correct me or you can, Gary, but one of the select board members only gets to serve 1 year to keep the stagger.
Why don't they just call it a 1-year term and a 2-year term?
So that
It's
it's,
the way you ask.
so that the next year when they are reelected, it's another 2 years. Then you don't have a whole bunch of people going up for reelection in the same year.
I agree with you that if it's a 2-year.
It was
term,
kinda
it's a
like
2-year
David's.
term, right?
It was kind of like David's when he got done. Every year it had to go back up again. So it'd be the same thing. It would be,
If you can
2-year
please,
term.
read through that email.
Yeah.
Well, I started to.
yeah,
And so I don't know, that might be a. Stop reading the email and just think common sense and like help have, you know. We probably should say what our desires are, right? And then let Brian word that one.
Okay.
It seems like we've always just, or at least I've always thought about it as being a 1-year term so you'd have 3. So if the town votes yes, if they want to do that this year, then you're gonna be electing 3 select board members. My term is expiring, and then you're gonna have 2 others. Now, what we just gotta do is say, how long do we want them to be, I think. We get that choice. 'Cause then you'd be selecting 2 select board members each year, and then the 3rd year you'd have 1.
I would just watch statute, it may be a
Yeah.
statute because of being newly elected positions that may have to follow that route.
Maybe sooner than later, why don't you start that conversation with Brian? The other ones are gonna be easy for him, I think, and so you don't get in a pinch at the last minute with Brian. And is that what you guys are, is that what we're thinking without making the decision tonight, a 1 year and a 2 year?
It sounds like we have to do some, we have to do. It's not a decision.
I would think the two years. But the first one's only a year. Cause then you don't have 3 people up for reelection in 1 year. Because that 1 year is gonna be up for reelection every year. And then the 3-year terms are gonna stagger. And then that 2-year term is gonna fall with somebody else. So the 1 year, the 2 year, and one of these are all gonna fall in the same year if you do it that way.
That 1 year would eventually turn to 2.
2 years, yes,
If that first year,
yeah. So then it's staggered later on.
it's just 1 year, but then after that and see.
So then there's
Our
only,
brains just aren't working. They understand that.
then it's only 2 terms at a time.
So
that
get
are-
an email out to him.
Okay.
And copy Carrie in it,
All right.
and you help.
Mhm.
With that.
Okay.
So that we can flush this out and not get,
Get the right word.
Yeah. and get that article nailed down.
Mhm.
Please.
If you read it more too, some of it's to do with if it's a floor vote or Australian ballot, so.
Right, we're
That-
floor.
that's
Floor,
right.
which makes it easier.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gary.
Mhm.
You were just through that one, I guess.
And then I know we're gonna get deeper into this in the meeting and bring back some more info, but, I just gave you a bunch of notes of what we've been going over with the funds. The first one's a long-term investment, I believe, was right after
Mhm.
the 3 to 5 first and fourth. And then on the second page of the long-term investment is some of the stuff from Melanie in bold there, which is for getting the wording right, so. She's still on if we have any questions. And it looks like this, there's another document in there from Melanie also. a long-term investment should be right with those notes.
Yep.
So I've read all of this stuff. I've been involved in a little bit of the communication. I think fortunately, Melanie and David are both ahead of us on this stuff, right, with our language and taking what we've been providing for guidance, I think, in the last month or two in our preparation for the meeting. I think they're getting the nuts and bolts of it together for us. And so this is sort of work product, and maybe Friday we could do that too. And say, let's get something ready for this table for the next meeting with, start putting these articles right in front of us so we can approve them and get them to Ed. I think they're probably just about done. They thought through it more than I have, but
The second one, Melanie also gave me some wording there, that's the Community and Economic Development Fund. Scott and I discussed that a little, and then that's in bold also.
okay, yeah.
Second page of the Community and Economic Development Fund.
Well, yeah, and so I'll see all these moving parts come together with that discussion that I'm
Right.
seeking, which is let's look at each one of those that we've already talked about. And we've made some of those decisions already on how much that we thought draw down those reserve funds. The question then is, what do we do with that money, right? And so I think with their help, in an hour or a couple hours, we could get them to clean up the mess we've made. You know, for lack of a better word, and give it back to us in a clean package for us to easily see it and approve it, or not.
Yep.
And then get it to Ed. I think.
And then the last financial one was the reappraisal. I didn't have any notes on that yet, you said we need to discuss that, so.
David and Melanie got that one down, I think.
What's it? I forget what
There-
it needs in it.
Excuse me.
Just what that needs to have in it.
Yeah, they know that.
Oh, the
They
appraisal
know that
one?
answer already. Melanie, do you have any feedback for us, or can you give us an update on your thoughts on our reappraisal fund?
Yeah, you're recalling correctly that David and I have already looked at the balances in there, and I believe that we settled on leaving 125,000.
Yeah.
As I recommended for the Economic Development Fund, if you're going to reduce it, I would recommend that reduction be done in sort of round whole numbers, as opposed to getting granular down to $1 to try to leave yourself with the 125,000 in there. So we'll come up with that wording, and that was based on understanding that you have a current contract for reappraisal and sort of looking out into the future and saying, okay, this is the level of per parcel payments we'll be getting from the state of Vermont each year. That's anticipated to only go up very slightly. And then trying to factor in what the cost of a reappraisal will be when you have the next requirement to do it. And there is also some question of whether you may ever have to do it again, depending on how the state deals with appraisals and PBR and all that. So I think that it's a really good position to be in, so that you won't have to consider, ideally won't have to consider using any of the town funds to fund the next reappraisal, if you're starting off with that $50,000 before the appropriations go in for the next number of years. And we don't have any idea whether you're talking 5 years, 8 years, when you might need to do it again. So I think it's a pretty good number, and David agreed with that.
And so the little bit of a loose end on all that. So yes, I thank you, Melanie. I agree with all that and with what David was providing us also. The little bit of a loose end for my thinking that I'd like to see tied is the landfill with the state and the utilities.
You mean their commitment to perform the reappraisal in the future, or?
Yes. Yeah, my understanding is there's been some of those discussions, but I haven't ever seen it come across on a piece of paper.
We'll get that in front of you for the next meeting.
Okay, awesome. So you've got possession of that, Dave?
In a sense, yes, it's a state form. PBR has forms for that, so you just need to put them in front of you so you can say, "Yep, let's do that," or
Okay.
"No, don't do it." But
No, well, because that makes this number radically change, right?
it does.
If we were going to be subjected to that again, $75,000 isn't gonna do it. So if we could get that, Dave, thank you, so that we have knowledge of it, and we accept that information, then we can feel good about our plan, I think. Awesome, good, yeah, thank you, Dave, for doing that.
Before we move forward, this doesn't need to be discussed here, but I will say now, you thought Friday was good, Scott, so I can throw that together, because I know they both said Friday was good. I'll get a link out to Melanie, a Zoom.
Yeah, let's, yeah.
We'll hit all this.
I just not sure about my time now on that day yet, so I might have to go home and I'll send you an email tonight.
You'll see the email.
Okay.
It's on there too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Before we get to Friday, can David or maybe Deb might need to help. I had asked about locating the article that originally created the Buildings and Maintenance Fund. The town reports online don't go back to the 2013, I think is when that was from. It's as close as I can get. I just didn't know if somebody could put their hands on that article before Friday, so we know what we're looking at.
You want to send that to me in an email, Melanie?
Sure.
The gentleman across the road said he's got every town report for the last, I don't know how many decades.
Deb's got
We
them.
don't guess.
You do have them all.
Yeah,
I
She's
figured every-
looking for that original language that created that reserve fund,
Okay.
I think. But yeah, the email's a great idea.
Yeah.
If you could get her that,
Definitely.
and she'll have that together for us for Friday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Progress.
Right, then the final article, I just had some sort of generic wording there, just for you to look at, and just reading it over, good call, Deb. It has what you said to be financed through for the town garage. For the article you were asking. It does have that wording in it.
Okay.
That was the last one. I just threw those in there. One is about a bond vote required, but. So it sounds like that option one will probably cover what we need for wording.
Yep, I think, see why I'm getting so nervous, there's so many moving parts.
Yeah.
So I think our work Friday, again, going back to what this is right here.
All tie into this.
Yeah, they can work us through how much money it is, David's gonna do his magic on recommendations on where to draw that money from, or as much as we can. Melanie's gonna help us, I think, with looking at what the strategies would be for long-term versus short-term borrowing practices. And then we can talk that through, and, David knows how to anticipate excess funds. And so we could make plans pretty strategically on how you would pay for it, should it get voted.
Yeah.
And be ready for that, rather than have to create it later.
And it does have what Deb was bringing up earlier, to be financed through, whether it's bonds, reserve funds, it has all of it. So I'm sure that's something that doesn't have to be exactly like this that you were looking for.
Yep.
Some of that stuff has to be very specific, especially when you're going for a bond. There's certain steps that you need to follow through exactly to a T in order for them to even approve that. If you don't do every step, you gotta have it like in the newspaper every Tuesday for 3 weeks in a row, and there's quite a few different steps to it, and you have to be to a T. Or you gotta start the whole process all over.
All right, well, let's get through Friday and get us to report card B. And now we've got B. And then you guys can take it home and back it around and, well, you might have to do another meeting this month. Thinking before your looming deadline,
Sure.
but.
Cause what's the deadline, the 26th?
Yeah,
So if we had something next week, if you guys had stuff together.
We'll make it happen.
well, cause then we have the meeting the 20th, the select
Right,
board
yeah.
meeting, right?
Yeah,
So if you had to have an extra one, it would be after that or before it?
before,
Oh, before, okay,
just to get this information.
sure,
Votes. Okay.
all right.
Yep.
And the second part of that is the budget there, there's a packet there for you from David.
Ed, did you want me to talk to that a little bit?
Sure, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is just the draft budget for the general fund. It's what I've got done right now. Literally hot off the press. The only thing that's a little odd about it is the revenue line, which is right in the first page for the landfill, shows the entire amount of landfill revenue, 2.3 million, I believe is the number I used. Might be 2.2.
Yeah, it's 2.2, Dave.
Okay, yeah, 2.2 million. That's the entire amount. A good chunk of that is actually going to end up funding the highway fund. So just know that when you're looking at that. I'm still working on the highway fund. I'll get that out as quick as I can. Thanks. Over.
Dave, I'll take it home and I'm sure we all will look through it. Are there any snags that you're looking at? Is there anything you're having some difficulty with on any of those lines, or is it all pretty standard?
I think it's all pretty straightforward stuff.
Okay.
Um,
All right, well, we'll just have to, take it home
yeah. I would say I have adopted the principle that we're not putting a budget number in for the appropriations. So you'll see kind of towards the end, I think page 6 or 5 or 6, that the appropriations, there's 2 lines, one for the smaller amounts and then one for the Coventry Town Foundation. Those are both at 0 right now.
Page 6.
That foundation, they were up for this, yeah.
Under miscellaneous.
see it.
Oh, here we go.
Did you get it? Or-
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There.
Okay.
So that's a change for you, David? You muted? Brad muted me. I can talk. I can talk to him about it Friday. Yeah, I think that's a change for us, right? Well, now we're doing that,
As far as,
but the budgeting piece. I think so. I can figure it out. Okay. Yeah. Good.
Thanks, David.
All right, thank you. You guys need a minute still, or you?
I'm good with it.
Good.
If I need something to put me to sleep, read the budget.
Pretty much.
All right.
All right,
Next is the Coventry Village School Australian ballot mailing.
I always love this one every single year because there's no sense, but it's what's required by statute. Title 17 VSA 2680, a school board may, after receiving the approval of the legislative body, which you folks are of each member town in the district, vote to mail its annual meeting ballot to all active registered voters in the district. In such case, the town clerk and election officials and the member town shall be responsible for the mailing of the ballots, but all costs associated with the mailing of ballots shall be borne by the school district. So we have to go through this every single year because they're Australian ballot, but they need to have your approval to be able to go ahead and send the Australian ballot out to all registered voters. So once you approve it, then they can approve it at their meeting and then the ballot, send it out. That's fine. Get ready for that.
Thank you, Deb.
Thanks, Deb.
I didn't even push back on this rate. Makes no sense. So one of you guys will have to,
make a motion. Make a motion to approve the school sending out Australian ballots for their budget for town meeting day.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye. Okay, Deb, you're good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kerry. Good.
I think I sort of kind of understand it.
In the end of the packet too, there's the email with all the additional info that I got from Kelly from BLCP, and then there's probably the same ones you have, but she sent them to me to help, so I printed them off for you.
Well, I've been naughty and I didn't do my homework. If you guys have, and it's yours to play with.
I was kind of understood it. I think where I was at was what the majority of people were doing. Only because the majority of people were doing it, and then see how everyone liked it.
So I think we pick one plan. They don't pick a plan. The town picks a plan.
Yeah.
Right. So these show you what's covered. So if, say, we pick two, then they get coverage. I think coverage A for diagnostic and preventative tells you what they have with no deductible. I don't know if we pick like 2A or 2B
I think that's,
or they pick A, B, or C.
I think everybody had to have the same plan, right, Ed?
Yeah,
It was.
yeah, I think everybody has to.
So we could say we want 2A. Which would cover, it's a preventative plan. Versus restorative. So it's just for x-rays and cleanings and that type of thing. And if we picked B, then it's the fillings, oral surgeries, that type of stuff. But then the percentage that Delta Dental pays changes. So if it's preventative, Delta Dental covers everything. If it's Plan B, they cover 80%. If it's C, then Delta Dental pays half of everything you have, stuff you have done with some co-pays.
Don't mess with
Oh,
Sal.
So they have a deductible and co-pays.
to try to figure it out for budgeting reasons, but if
Mhm,
it's
yeah.
just giving you guys too much info you're being bombarded with, I mean, I could try to ask if she could join a meeting, if she has time, maybe to break it down, explain it better, if that would help, I could try that.
It'd have to be in either the special meeting or the 20th, which is cutting it really close. So we have 4 people. I know 2 of them are 3 or more people. I don't know Josh's family.
Well, you gotta remember that that's all gonna change over time, right?
Mhm.
So people are gonna come and go and, you know, it's like healthcare,
But I'm just looking for this year.
off the budgeting.
Yeah, so there'd be 2 at the hunt. If we did like the 2A or something, it'd be 2 at 136. 1 at 4098, and I don't know Josh. Cause yours would be just you, Ed.
Yeah, just me.
So there's 2 questions for the board to consider. A, do you wanna give healthcare, or do you wanna give dental care? Do you wanna do that
I think we should.
to your full-time staff? Which would be 4 employees.
I think we should. I don't know where to go with this, but just, it seemed, I mean, teeth can affect your health.
They get, I mean, they have good health care.
Yeah.
So at most, it's gonna be 448 a month times 12.
Six,
Hmm.
almost 6,000.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So you're talking another 6,000 a year, which,
If you went with the benefit plan 2B.
Yeah.
Is what I'm hearing.
just a 2, I don't know about A, B, or C. B definitely gives more. It doesn't, there would be out of pocket from the subscribers if they had some of this stuff done. So every time when they went to the dentist, it would be a $25 copay.
So if you,
It's not huge.
right, you did that math right on these 2 blocks right here.
Yes, I
For the
did.
month.
I did this one by 3 because I don't know
Right.
Josh's family, and then
Okay, so that's what 200, 3 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 400. So
without
it's about 450.
right, I didn't do the pennies.
So 450 a month. Times 12, right? What's that?
Just rounded up to
She's-
500.
You know,
So 6,000.
Maybe about 5,200, yeah.
Yeah.
Round there.
What do you think?
I think it's good. I agree with Dion. I think it's nice for your full-time employees. Honestly, I would like to see like at Christmas time, we should be doing something for the full-time employees. And at Thanksgiving time, we should do something for the full-time employees. I think it's just nice.
Rondo, what do you think?
Sorry, I was busy working.
Dental insurance for full-time staff?
I think it's a nice thing to do. It's gonna. I mean, you got good guys now, but if you ever need to find somebody else, it's gonna help you bring in a good qualified person to replace them. That's what people are looking for good benefits.
mhm.
The cost is about 5,200 a year.
Nothing worse than a toothache to put someone out for
Mhm.
a while.
Mr. Roy,
But
what do you think?
I think you should.
Tough group.
Right?
I think you're all right.
That being said, I don't want to recommend it. It's-
Well, I know.
It's one of those things that they just normally, they don't. And it just, I don't know why.
Your dental is also good for your mental health.
Are you there too?
Mhm.
You think it's good? Yeah. Well, then I think that we probably ought to make that vote, right? That we want to offer, or we want to supply our full-time staff with dental care,
Would start July 1st.
and then we can,
It would start July 1st.
does it start July or June?
We've already passed the January first deadline.
So new ones we can get in anytime we want? Is that what we came up with before?
Oh, we don't have to wait until January of 27 to sign up. You're saying,
I
I
think we
thought that,
do.
I thought you had to sign up in November.
I feel like they,
January.
Open enrollment. So open enrollment and the budgeting are different.
That's the late time.
there was
something, because we
Yeah, that's why I rushed it to you
Yeah.
back in November.
Yeah, because she had said that we had to sign up for this starting July 1st. We had to be signed up by November 15th.
Yeah, that's why I rushed it into the, after I spoke to you.
So if we,
I guess regardless of when it starts.
that's right,
I think the biggest
We're gonna
thing
budget.
tonight
You would
was
budget
for
half
the
a year.
budget for
I
you
think
guys.
that's what the conversation was. This year, we'd budget half a year,
Correct.
because it would be for the fiscal
Yeah.
year. And we'd only be paying for January.
but we're past that, so we would be start doing this budget, so you'll have to communicate with David if we do this. So that he gets $6,000 into that line, I'm sure he's listening, but into a new line.
But if we're all right, we'll be signing up for January 1st of next year.
So it'd be
So you need to
3,000.
budget it for half, right?
Half a year.
January to July of 27.
I could guess that right now, but I don't know that's the answer. With newly,
Mhm.
with a new creation of a contract.
Yeah.
Rather than already an established contract with new enrollees, I don't know.
Okay,
So I think I would
I'll find
say
out.
Yeah.
you can either find out or just budget the 6,000.
Oh, okay.
Is what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, hey, it's David here. That's not enough money to worry about. We'll work it out.
Yeah, budget the 6,000.
You know, we'll fix it.
And then I'll get the deadlines from VLCT and
Mhm.
This one right here, too.
So number 2, and then B,
I don't think we need to do that. I think we just go benefit plan number 2.
Mhm.
And then this will work out with the personnel,
Mhm.
you know, whoever,
so we wouldn't have to, actually, you wouldn't have to choose that
you
until
don't know,
the next,
Yeah.
right?
till next November.
So if we just, voted and approved
Up to,
to join Northeast Delta Dental, the LCT group number, with benefit plan 2, then David can do the rest.
Mhm.
I think it's a good idea. I think everybody's right.
I'll make a motion to approve, signing up for Northeast Delta Dental plan, benefit plan 2 for the full-time employees for the November enrollment for 2027.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ed, that was a lot of work. I know you went back and forth a lot with everybody and you were patient with us, so you did a great job.
all right.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you for adding it. Other business, did you want to start, Dan?
Sure. I heard back from the town attorney on the gravel pit issue. And we're waiting on basically proof that Bob Zerk's owned it. And
You mean on the right of way?
well, they are indeed the rightful owners of the property.
Oh, gotcha.
And that's gonna take time, so we're waiting on their attorney.
Mhm.
That's it.
At least they got back to you and they're working on it.
Yeah.
Question on that. That was on last year's town meeting. do we put that in as like other business for an update?
I think that would exactly what I would do.
Mhm.
Right in on their other business, because it's not a vote, it's an update, it's a responsible professional thing for us to do, because we had a non-binding vote. Yeah, it's a lot of work that Dan and everybody's been doing. It's not completed, but it hasn't gone away, and these are the reasons, and
Mhm.
you know, we can get a little bit closer. We thought all of that through, but it might be a good idea to ask Brian to give you a 1 paragraph summary. You know, so it's him.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
For you, for us,
Yep.
not for inclusion in the report, but something that we can have tangibly that, you know, is from the horse's mouth, and this is where the legal issues stand.
Yep. An answer.
Yeah.
All right, I had this in the wrong place on my notes here, so we can.
Dan, you got a question on this
Oh,
before we?
sorry.
Yeah, I was just wondering what you meant by owning it. The town owns the property, right? Town
Yes.
owns the property, the rights to the agricultural benefit is what you mean by you own it? I mean, the town bought the property.
But they have, I think it's. We are waiting on the observers to provide us with a probate court decree of distribution from the state of Connecticut showing that they are indeed the rightful owners of the property. And they will also need to provide us with a probate court acceptance from the Orleans probate court that domesticates the Connecticut decree. So I think there's somebody else on there with them.
But I wonder if it's where they're right, where we are using their right of way. Or we're using their land
Yeah,
to get to the gravel pit. So it must be,
that it's about our right of way going across their property. And so that's where it is, that property that they own that we're crossing.
Oh, I thought the issue was that they were leasing out farming on the town's property.
But we're gonna swap rights
Oh,
is what we're proposing, what they're proposing. And doing so,
they have to prove that they own that property.
Yes.
Spot.
Yep.
Gotcha. That makes more sense.
So that's because the original deed, there were 4 owners. All of their last names were Ospheric, but there were 4 owners. And 2 of those owners who live out of state have passed away. When you get into legal deed work, it says heirs and assigns. So there could be heirs out there.
Right, there could be somebody else.
And so just the 2 folks that are here in this town, legally speaking, as it's drafted in legal deed work, can't make that decision until in such a time that there's litigation if needs be, or what have you, that shows to a court those 2 names don't exist anymore and their heirs don't either. Making it clear that the other 2 can make a deal or act in that way. That's where, you know, it's like you start scratching your head like, how do we get into these things? No. So it's tough. Dan's done a good job of working through it and being patient, and he's the man for the job. I wasn't. You've done good. We gotta keep pushing it as much as we can, but just to resolve it. Yeah.
All right, all set.
Good.
We can discuss an article I forgot to before, right? Even though I didn't know if you wanted to talk about, you said you had some notes on the paving article there.
Yeah, I had people with the paving article, it's gonna have approving an amount to pave all the roads that we have talked about. And I've had some people think that they should be separated. Approving such amount to do the separate roads.
That would, because the conversation we had is if it would change the amount of each one.
More expensive.
So because they gave us a amount for doing them all,
Mhm.
and they don't have to separate it.
Cause if Costco goes and buy their paper towels versus going to buy one roll at the grocery store, I think that's where the more you buy, the better rate you get.
I got you. If we said we don't want to pave one of the roads, then they're gonna say, wait a minute.
Mhm.
So there can be a floor amendment, right? So we have a contract, we've entered into a contract that has that detail in it. What roads
Yeah.
there are, what the amount of tonnage is on each of those roads. And it all equates down to that total number, but like Carrie said, and they said, if you start chipping away or breaking that down, that tonnage price will go up. So if we put fewer tons down, the tonnage price goes up. It's a finance decision. It's not a do I want tar decision.
Yeah.
So that's where, the whole floor vote can they can amend that. Then we would need to, if say they amended it, what is it, 300 and change?
Yeah,
300,000.
325, I think.
325,000. So if the town said, we want to make an amendment, we're only going to approve you to spend 250, we are going to have to go back, which is fine. Then we've got to go back to the contractor and say, what do we get for 250? You're a little bit in a weak spot then. Do we have it, but it also does, we do include in our contracts, with the blessing of the town vote. Right, so we're not into that money unless the town says no. I don't know, I think we've done it because it's in the contract.
Done well.
Well, what you're saying is people are proposing to do each road, so.
Yeah. And our
Webster Road, this much money.
Yeah.
Cleveland Road.
Yeah, it's broken up that way.
It's already broken up that way in that contract. So it's sort of the same thing. It's all there. So the floor vote could make an amendment down.
Knowing the price is gonna go up.
Well, I mean, it's then that we can still tar what we want, I suppose, if they did that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that they could get in there, could they? I don't think the town meeting could get into the nuts and bolts of your contract and say, take out.
Cause I asked that question when they were here.
Right,
What if they say we only want to top coat Webster Road and not any others?
right.
That doesn't work because then
Well, it works, but it just costs you more money.
right, the contract's null and void, then it's gonna be a new contract.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Yeah.
Contracts already established.
Yeah. Pursuant to the vote.
Yeah.
Certainly can, as you go along year to year to year, flush that out again for the next time. Probably a lot of that's gonna come back to Friday's meeting, right? It's like how much money you're gonna have or not have based on building a garage.
Yep.
You probably won't be, you're probably gonna have to top coat things. That's why you're doing Webster this year, because you kind of got it. But
Okay,
All right.
I'm good.
It's a good idea.
But it would always change if you took one out, it's gonna change the bid.
you would have to, Deb's right, you'd have to get a new contract then and your tonnage price would go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
county meeting paper there was in the middle, same one as before, different
Mhm.
date.
You going?
Not planning on, are you going?
I can certainly go. Ed, you gonna go to that?
Yeah, I think if it works out.
Probably should.
Yeah, I'll go to that
You
one.
probably should.
Can one of you just read the date, time, what it is? I just passed it to you.
It's January 20th, so this, if you're still on your select board meeting that night, because if you are,
Oh, it's-
What time's the meeting at?
I think it's in the
In the
morning.
morning. Yeah, I thought it was in the mornings.
well, it's up to you. You can.
8 a.m.
Or,
Tuesday, January 20th, 8 a.m.
So whether or not you wanna go.
yeah, it's up to you. But you guys do, you know, whether you wanna go to that, see what it's all about. I've never been to one. I think Marcotte used to go to that, didn't
Probably like that.
he? I think so. Matt might have gone, but I don't know.
And last one, are we going with January 20th for select board meeting? January 20th at 5 because of the holiday and the 19th.
I think that's what we said last meeting.
Yeah, we were gonna
Yeah.
discuss.
That's a Tuesday?
Yeah.
That what it was.
Because the 19th is a holiday.
Yeah, I think keep that one in the books for now, and then in the next few days, we need to assess whether we need another one,
Okay.
you know, just to keep things chopping along. Do you need anything from us on all these moving parts and all of your work with, as Matt?
Not as of right now.
Okay. Cause you know, Matt can. I don't know, I'm speaking for him, but I mean, he can up his participation a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
As far as
Connected
Yeah.
with me and work with me, so.
town,
Stay on top
town
of it,
report stuff,
yeah.
just get it across the line.
I think, I've been getting everything in, so. I think the biggest thing with the time crunch will be our meeting, will be just getting the articles right, the financial articles, you know.
Yeah, I think so too. That's why I
I
wanna
think
work
that's
hard
like the
Friday.
largest piece I'm worried about, how we'll
Yeah.
get there.
We'll get it to you. We'll get Melanie and Dave and we'll
Cause
mail.
it's gotta go to the lawyer to
Yeah.
write, to
Yeah.
okay the article.
That's why I was saying on that other one, get it to
Yeah,
him
go
now.
to him now and see about the wording and all that. That's it on other business, unless anybody else has anything.
Good.
The 12, 15, 25 minutes are there for you.
They are good.
I added the titles, Carrie, there from the beginning, so.
Mhm.
Motion to accept the select board meetings for the town of Coventry, Monday, December 15th, 2025 as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, and warrants are there in the middle. I think you might have signed it earlier, but there was a paper on top. I was supposed to tell you to sign it, so you took care of it. Right?
Lauren
I
and
made
me.
sure it was fine.
Aaron's still sore.
From her twisting it.
Twisted hard.
You not put them on the floor.
Did you video it?
The other two.
Might need another kind of more.
And that Scott had signs. For that stuff on. The holidays and everything else.
You got a lot of work that's going on. And I saw your note, we're gonna see that or somewhere that you paid,
Here,
and then it's gonna come back down.
Yes, correct.
This is a one-time,
Here where you gotta do your BMC stuff.
right,
Yeah.
it's a one-time huge spike we weren't expecting, we dug through, figured it out, and then it's gonna come back down and settle where we have been.
It's like almost every 4 years-ish,
Okay,
where it has that spike that has to be done, and then it goes back down and even out.
okay. So,
Because if you look at the contract, they actually have 2,000 in there, which equates to what we're paying now, like quarterly to have some of that stuff done, and then they have their service to go do their perks and everything else that they typically have to do.
Okay.
But yes, you're correct.
what is the tax credit one?
Tax credit, that was, David might be able to explain it a little bit better. Andrew sold some property.
Yeah.
And at the time that the taxes was done, it wasn't quite fully as far as the acreage of who's owning this and who's owning that. So so they both ended up paying more than what they should have paid.
Okay.
And so that's being credited.
for purchasing the whole, right, it was a,
So this is,
The other
this
individual's
is,
the buyer.
It was,
say the adjoining or something.
David, I think,
it was mainly a current use issue.
Okay,
It took the state way longer than normal to sort out the current use piece, and that's what's happened there mostly.
That's a lot of taxes.
what's done?
done.
I think it's a card that one little one, so we put in front of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the salt bill here reminds me, everybody should say thank you to the salt bill. They have done
Yep,
an exceptionally good job.
yep.
Yes,
They've been busy.
They've been busy. It's, I mean, all towns that go through it, we always say it, but you know, our guys are just, they're on it.
Yep.
They're very punctual. They're always on the road at the same time.
Yep.
They're beating the buses.
Yep.
Um,
We said the same thing last year. It just,
Yep, they don't need us
no,
in any way,
no.
so they're something to really be proud of.
And I've had people who drive to work say that on their commute, the town's they're driving through snow. And no, it's not the case here.
Right. By our house at, I don't know,
Mhm.
4
Yeah,
every day.
yep.
I'll pass it along.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've
They've been doing great.
awesome.
Motion to accept the warrants as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You like a robot. You just got, it's over.